Good morning and happy Monday, friends. Um, Sorry I didn't get to post anything last week. It was the end of May. I was very busy, but I also know that you guys are very busy, and I wanted to give you a week to catch up with your music assignments as well as your ELA and your math and your science. I know this has all been very hard for you, and what you want maybe most in life is to not be at home and to see your friends, maybe to see your teachers, but you're all doing great. Um, I can't wait to show you this video. We usually do it just for listening a few times a week. Like I said, I gave you last week off, and I saw this at the last week, and I thought, oh, I really want to post this. But then I thought, I don't want to post it in the middle of the week, and I don't want to post it without a little bit of explanation. So, you guys know me. You know that I am a music teacher, and I'm a musician, and I'm also someone who loves music. And those three things sound like they are all the same thing, but they're not necessarily. A lot of people who love music are not musicians, or not music teachers. A lot of musicians aren't music teachers, and a lot of music teachers don't necessarily play a lot of music outside of their classroom. So, but I happen to be all three. I also love, love, love dance. I'm always going to see dance, especially in New York. So, you know that I always talk about New York City, and I always talk about how this is the greatest city in the world. For me, I understand why people in London think that maybe they live in the greatest city in the world, and people in Tokyo, and certainly people here in the United States, in Los Angeles, and Chicago, and Philadelphia, and certainly Boston. And Boston is an incredible, incredible city. I'm a New York Yankees fan. I'll get that out there. But there's nothing about Boston that I don't love, including their sports fans. Um, they love all of their sports. They love culture. They love music. They love dance. They love art. And I try to spend a lot of time every summer going up there. It's a 4-hour car drive to go from New York City, or where I am in New Jersey, to get up to Boston. And it's worth it. It's always worth it. So I do want to share, that brings me to this because I do want to share um, a couple of things with you. So for one, there's two organizations in the video that you're going to see now. One is the Boston Ballet, and the other one is the Boston Pops. So the Boston, again, I'm always talking about New York City. I'm a huge fan of New York City dance, especially New York City Ballet and American Ballet Theater, which are both based in Lincoln Center, where I used to work. Boston Ballet is extraordinary. Extraordinary. They also have an incredible organization, musical organization, called the Boston Pops. Now, let me talk a little bit about that word, Boston Pops. So, a Pops orchestra is just like a symphony orchestra. So when we've gone to see things at Carnegie Hall and you've seen a symphony orchestra, it's the same types of musicians. In fact, a lot of musicians play in a symphony orchestra and they play in a Pops orchestra. The only difference is, and it's very little, is they usually play classical music that's a little more well known. Okay? By the way, New York City has a Pops, and they're incredible, but there's no one more famous. There's no Pops orchestra more famous or more loved than the Boston Pops, and I'll be the first one to say that as a New Yorker. Second thing I want to talk about is something called choreography. Such a beautiful word. I just love that word. Looking at it, I just love how the REO and the graphy, I just love how the whole thing works. In fact, the word choreography looks to me like choreography. So here's the definition. It's a sequence of steps and movements in dance. So if you have someone on the stage over here, and because of the story they have to get over here, there's a million different ways, probably even more than a million, for that person to get from here to here. And it depends on the choreographer and on the story that she or he wants to tell. That will determine how they do it. That's why every ballet is different. When you get a different choreographer or even if you get a choreographer who changes his or her mind, you know, over the years, the ballet will be different, and that's what's beautiful about dance. Now, let me explain one more term because we'll be talking about this. So, this is French, so the pronunciation is pas de deux, and it means step of two, and all it means is when two people get together and dance, especially in ballet. We call it a pas de deux. It's usually a man and a woman, but not always. And that's going to be very, very important for what we're talking about here. So what you're going to see is the music, or you're going to hear the music of Tchaikovsky, one of my favorite people that ever lived, because I love his music, Russian composer. And you're going to see a choreography that's different than any choreography I've ever seen. It's from a ballet called Swan Lake. I've seen Swan Lake maybe 30 times, maybe more. Every time a different ballet company does it, I always think, I want to see that because I want to see how that ballet does it differently than the ballet I saw last month or last year or 5 years ago. This is definitely something different. And you also know that when I share a lot of these videos that we have during this remote learning time, I share videos that are done specifically in lockdown. And I know we're all struggling. You're not doing great every day. I'm not doing great every day. My family, my friends, we're not doing great every day. But what is really, really beautiful is the way artists are reacting. They're not just sitting down. They're not just saying, well, the lockdown's over when it's over. No, they keep making art, and this is what you're going to see. So let me explain to you a little bit about the scene you're going to see. So it's called Swan Lake, the ballet, and this part is called the White Swan. Now, the White Swan is played by a woman, usually, and her character is named Odette. Odette. Now, she is a woman who's actually trapped in the body of a swan, but not in this case, not when you see the ballet, because she transforms and she dances with this man who loves her, falls in love with her, and his name is Prince Siegfried. And it's a beautiful dance together. It's when they first come together and they first really realize how much they're in love with each other. And he doesn't necessarily know that, you know, she turns into a swan and she really can't be with him, right? Tragedy. So I've mentioned the fact that there's a princess and there's a prince. Here's what's great about this video that you're going to see. The pas de deux is being performed by two men. One of them is named Derek Dunn, and he is a principal dancer with Boston Ballet. And the other one is named Paolo Hayes. And I learned that pronunciation from watching a video of him pronouncing his name, because if you look at his name, it doesn't sound like that. He's from Brazil, and he has a beautiful accent when he speaks English. I'm sure he speaks many other languages, including Portuguese, which is what they speak in Brazil, and it's pronounced Hayes. So, two men performing this Boston Ballet. There are two women that are performing this. One plays the harp, and she is Jessica Shu. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I tried to find a place where she actually pronounces her name, and I could not find it. And the violinist is Elita Kang. They are both excellent musicians with the Boston Pops. So this is what I want you to think about. Now that I've given you background on what you're going to see, I want you to think about the choreography. How does the choreography fit that space? I'm not going to tell you too much, but it starts off in the kitchen. Now, we know what it's like to be in lockdown. We know that even if before lockdown you thought, well, I got a pretty big space, it's pretty cool, it holds all my stuff, I can put my instruments over there and my CDs over there and my books over there. Right now, it doesn't feel like anything's big. It feels like everything is small. So imagine trying to come up with a dance that fits that space. So think about the choreography. I also want you to think about the audience. You're the audience member. But right now, because we're not there live, the audience is really the camera. So think about where the camera has to be in order for you to see what they want you to see, right? The choreographer, the dancers, all the people that came together to make this incredible video. So I'll tell you right now, there are 3 rooms in which this takes place. Last thing I want you to think about, only because it's amazing, is there's a cat. There's a cat that is just chilling out. And I've had cats before. I don't have a pet right now. I wish I did. I've had cats before, and I guarantee you, the look on this cat's face is, these guys are dancing again. Cool, right? The cat's not bothered. If it was a dog, dog would jump in. I love dogs too. Dog would jump in and try to dance with them and whatever. Cat's just like, chill. Okay, so you've got this video to watch. You have the main video to watch, which is only it's under 4 minutes. And then after that, if you want to, but I really encourage you to, I posted another ballet company that does something more traditional in the sense that it is a man and a woman, but really more traditional in the sense that it's on a stage and not in someone's house. And that is from a dance company, dance/opera company in Germany. So in your comments, I would love for you, don't just write about the cat. I know you're all going to write about the cat. That's cool. You can say whatever you want about the cat. I mean, be nice, but say whatever you want about the cat. But I want you to think about those things I talked about. Think about the choreography. What did they do to make this work in that space? And I want you to think of the point of view. I also want you to think about what does it mean when something that is maybe originally thought of as being for a man and a woman is performed by 2 men. Could also be performed by 2 women. Maybe Boston Ballet is going to work on that next, or maybe someone else is. Either way, I'm excited about this. I can't wait to see what you say. I'll post some more stuff in the future. But for now, know that I love you. I miss you. And every day that I wake up, I say to myself, today is another day closer to getting to see you guys. So I hope you're well, and get those comments going.